The Cell Cycle, written by the M&Ms. Table of Contents. First page, plant and animal cell diagram. Second and third page, why cells have to divide and surface area to volume ratio. 4. Cytokinesis. 5. Interface. Sixth page is parts of the interface. 7 to 12 is mitosis. 13 cancer cells and 14 cancer formation. On the other side, we have the plant cell and the animal cell.
Why cells have to divide. The main reason. When the cell starts to become too large, it is inefficient. The more demands the cell needs, the less efficient moving nutrients become. These nutrients are oxygen, glucose, waste, which is CO2. The DNA is unable to serve the needs of the growing cell. The cell grows, but its DNA does not. Once the cell is too large, it divides into 2 daughter cells. Each daughter cell gets 1 complete copy of the DNA. The surface area does not increase as fast as the volume. If the volume is increasing but the outside is not, it causes problems inside, which is inefficient. Also, it could possibly pop or ooze. It is harder for materials to diffuse when the cell is larger, and it is easier for the materials to diffuse when the cell is smaller.
Cytokinesis completes the process of cell division, splits the one cell into 2. The goal is to form daughter cells. Cytokinesis in an animal cell. The cell membrane pulls in until it splits into 2 equal parts. It occurs when a cleavage furrow forms. The cytokinesis in plant cells. The cell membrane cannot pinch inward, and the cell plate forms in the middle to separate 2 equal parts. The interphase, also known as the resting phase. The phase where the cell grows and replicates its DNA. The typical cell spends most of its time here. This phase is preparing the cell for mitosis. It consists of G1 phase, S phase, and the G2 phase. You can see a picture of it on the bottom of the page.
G1 phase. Cells do most growing here. They increase in size and synthesize new proteins and organelles. It gets ready for the S phase. The S phase. New DNA is synthesized when it is replicated. Cell has twice as much DNA as it did before. G2 phase. The shortest phase. The organelles and molecules needed for cell division are produced, then is ready for the M phase. The M phase.
Mitosis. The M phase splits into 2 parts, mitosis and cytokinesis. Both of these steps are part of the eukaryotic cell cycle. The mitosis divides into 4 parts: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. First, we have the prophase. The DNA inside of the nucleus condenses and you can see the duplicated chromosomes. A spindle starts to form on the outside of the nucleus. The spindle is created to help the duplicated chromosomes to split. This phase takes half of the time that the whole mitosis process needs. The duplicated DNA pieces come together and get attached to the centromere. After this process, the DNA strands are called chromatid. 2 sister chromatids are together right now.
The next part is the metaphase. In the second and shortest phase, the centromere of the duplicated DNA can turn horizontal so that the spindle fibers can connect them to the poles of the spindle. The third phase is called anaphase. Here the sister chromatids split and get individual chromosomes that move away from each other to the opposite sides of the cell through the spindle fibers. This phase ends when the chromosomes stop moving and are completely separated.
The fourth and final phase is telophase. The chromosomes get in a tangle of chromatin. An envelope reforms around the chromosomes and the nucleus becomes visible in each daughter cell. Now the mitosis is complete. Cancer cells. Causes. By defects in genes that regulate cell growth and division. Sources for that: smoking, tobacco, and radiation. They lose the ability to control growth, they divide uncontrollably, and they block nerve connections. They prevent the organs from working properly, which leads to life-threatening illness. The defects typically come from p53 genes.
Cancerous cell formation. First, the cell begins dividing not properly. Second, it produces a tumor which displaces cells and tissues. Third, they start spreading once they enter the bloodstream or lymph vessels.